Welcome to Sunday School. So today we're going to be talking about...
It's my little bubble. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there is a lot of people here. And she is weird. Yeah.
What are you doing? Is that a pig?
What? I'm not doing nothing. None of your business. You leave me and my pig alone. We are just fine over here.
How is it none of my business? You're interrupting something important.
Oh, important is it? Oh, what you're doing is important? What me and my pig are doing is important. Hello? I'm listening for a word from the Lord from my pig. Oh, yes, I am.
You think your God can talk through your pig?
Of course he can. He's done it in the Bible. He spoke to a chicken, didn't he? Right with Peter. Quack, 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 three times a night. And yeah, he talked to a donkey. The donkey talked. He can talk to my pig. You don't even believe he can talk, do you?
He can, but
Yes,
only through pastors.
No, I mean my pig, not God. My pig can talk.
Oh, no, he can't.
Yes, he can.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
Okay. Wait. Why are you guys arguing? You were
She
saying
said,
about...
she said God can only
What's going on here?
She said God can only talk to pastors, and that's not true. That's not
Being
true. He can talk to my
ridiculous.
pig. He can talk to my pig.
What? No.
You're not getting it. God can talk to anything, but the chance of him talking to that pig are pretty small, Brother Philip. And God usually does talk through pastors and Sunday school teachers, so you're both kind of right, but can you just drop this and kind of get Sunday school moving like a little bit of time?
Well, what are we even talking about today?
Oh, this one's easy. God can talk, well, through anything. Even, hypothetically, a rubber pig. But hey, I want everybody to know that Brother Danny and I, we're going to be watching all you guys because we're doing a good behavior game at the end of the lesson. And if you've been good, we will select you. You can come up and play for prizes.
Yep.
Awesome. We're really excited about this. Brother Julian.
Who's Brother Julian? That's that guy. You know what? I know Brother Julian had this next section, but you know what? I don't know where he went. Hey, stop. Calm down.
You don't get me out of this right now. You better open it up. I got something to teach you.
Hey, quiet! Julian! Hey, quiet! Stop! Hey, listen guys, don't ignore the box, okay? My name is A. Jackson. I am a no-call, no-show, up to no good kind of guy. You know what? They were talking about good behavior and behaving and rules. You know what? If Brother Julian was here right now, hey, quiet! If Brother Julian was here right now, well, he will say something like, oh, rule number 1, make sure you stay in your seat. Oh, forget that. Whatever you guys want to do, get up, wander around, whatever. It's up to you. I don't care. Or it'll be like, rule number 2 is, oh, don't eat candy in class, blah, 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 blah. You know what? You got candy in your pockets right now. Make sure if you have some, share it with me. Thank you. And then, you know what? Rule number 3 will be like, oh, only one person talking at a time. You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and... You be quiet over there, brother, whoever you are. You know what? Rules, schools, you guys do whatever you guys want in class. I'm here, I'm A. Jackson, and I'm going to be watching for the worst behaved kids. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, all right, here. All right.
What are you doing? Who are you?
My name's A. Jackson.
That's crazy. No, you can't be talking like this. What's wrong with you?
Whatever.
What do you got in? Who you got in that box?
Don't look in there. Don't worry about it.
Really hurt.
Okay, well, you know what? This is the part, I'm not going to lie. I know they're saying, like, rules, but my favorite part is I love birthdays. I know I'm a mean-looking guy, but I love a good birthday. And you know what? If Brother Julian was here, this is actually the part of Sunday school I really like. I like to look at him and be like, oh, Feliz Aniversario! And I like jump up and I'm all happy. And he's saying it in French, and then he says it in Italian, and he's singing, he's like, da dragore a ti, da dragore a ti, da dragore a Big brother
Yes.
AWOL Jackson. Not brother AWOL Jackson. AWOL Jackson. not
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I'm a mean guy.
You've inspired me.
How?
Okay, just your songs.
Why?
I want to sing a song for Sunday school that goes along with the topic that fills with life.
Ew.
Yeah, we're gonna do a song, and so unless
Ew.
you're gonna do the motions and do like the good behavior, we're supposed to like go along with it.
Uh-huh.
I need my brothers to come out,
Oh, wait.
and then everybody needs to stand up, and we're gonna do this song. It's called Fandabidozi, which is a really big word that just means God is really cool, I think. Anyway, you ready? We have the lyrics on our signs here. I need you to get up your drums.
Wasn't that a great song, Biggie? Yes, it was. I think we need to sing a song now. Okay.
I'm glad to hear this.
Be the God of everything. Not right now. Not right. We're in the middle of a solo.
Oh, it's so cool.
Not right yet.
Oh, you got something.
I don't care. You can wait.
No, it's a special delivery.
I don't care. Later.
Best friend!
What?
Got a bunch of money for your best
From my best friend? From my best friend. This will have to wait.
What does it say?
It says, from my best friend to Philip. You got, let me tell you about my best friend.
Oh, okay.
Like, I've known him my whole life.
Your whole life?
Oh yeah, like we are so close, and he cares about me. Anything I need, I can ask him for, and I know he's got my back.
Oh man.
Best friend.
You sound so cool.
Awesome.
So what did he say? What did it?
And
But like, what did he say?
what?
What did he say?
It says from best friend to Philip. Okay. Then. What?
No, but like, what did he write you? What
I don't know. I don't have X-ray vision.
Well, if you open the letter, we can all know what he said.
I will. I will. Just don't rush me. In good time. In good time. I got a lot on my plate. Listen, I'm in the middle of a Donald Duck. Like, the thing's amazing. Like, Donald Duck and his nephews are beating up the bigger boys. And it's amazing. They're like, gonna go. And I got another one I'm reading. It's the dictionary.
So you're not gonna...
I did not say that. You're putting words in my mouth. I I never said that. I am going to read it. Stop right there.
So you're too busy to open the letter.
Hold on.
Best friend.
You're reading into something I'm not saying.
You're not reading it at all.
Well, I will get to it, okay? Just don't rush me. Don't rush me. I have things to do.
Dude, this is from your best friend.
Yeah, I know.
So
It says it.
Dude, you're not gonna open it?
I did not say that. Okay, now, we're going to sing a song.
If I was your best friend, I'd be so mad at you.
Why?
Honestly, you are a terrible friend.
Okay, fine. You guys are all looking at me like I'm an awful person, aren't you? But what if I told you, Sister Bree, that there might be somebody out here that's in the same boat I am?
What?
Yeah. What if they had a best friend? In fact, a friend that they say sticks closer than a brother, and a friend that they love more than anybody else, and a friend that they can call on for anything, and he wrote them a letter.
How do you know that?
Well, let's just say I know from experience. Maybe he wrote a letter and gave it to him. He handwrote it, and it has promises and all kinds of things in there about how much he loves him and cares for him, but they don't bother reading it because they're too busy.
So it's just sitting on like the coffee table?
On the coffee table or maybe in the bookshelf, and they never bother pulling it out. You know that letter that he wrote is called the Bible. And a lot of people have it, but they never even bother opening it up and reading it. They say he's their best friend. They say they love him, and they even go to church, but sometimes it's all out of their mouth, but they never actually spend the time to read something that their best friend wrote. And you know what? I'm going to change my ways. I'm going to be a better friend. I'm going to go read this right now.
So open it up, right? Yeah? Read what he says.
Yes! Did you know that God can talk to anything? I just learned that God can talk to you through even His Word. God can use anything to talk to me. And He can talk through His Bible. Did you know that? That's so exciting!
Yes, rub a little bit to the left. Yes, a little bit to the left. Oh, perfect. My thumb has been hurting from Twitter. Yes. Oh, that feels... Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hi everybody, I'm here with ILC Babylonian News Radio, and I'm here at the palace of the Queen and her maid.
How does my hair look?
Yeah,
Do I look okay?
Yeah. Wait. Queen, it's the radio. No one's even gonna see us.
Oh, right.
So Queen, we heard that your husband, King Belshazzar, had an amazing time at his dinner. Can you elaborate a little bit what happened?
Well, the king, may he live forever.
Or not.
Excuse me?
What did you say?
No. Or not. I have this weird cough.
Oh, okay. Well, as you know, well, maybe you don't know because it's a big secret, but Belshazzar is not a very nice guy.
A secret? Yeah. Please, the whole kingdom knows that he's not nice. And if they didn't know it yet, they're gonna know now. You're on the radio!
Oh,
Can you tell me more?
Yes. I'm so sorry. Anyways, well, he had a great big feast for all of his leaders and the princes and the king. May he live forever.
You don't have to say that every single time. He's not even in the room.
Okay. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, the king was having a great big feast, and oh my goodness, he called in all of the vessels from the temple, the holy temple in Israel, and they were using them to eat and drink with, and it was getting really crazy when all of a sudden, out of the blue, there appeared a big finger on the wall, writing many, tickle your persons, or something like that.
Wait, you're saying there was a giant finger on the wall?
Yeah.
Are you sure you weren't hallucinating?
No. It wasn't just her. We all saw it. It was so crazy. This giant finger. Everyone was like scared and screaming and fainting. It was really intense.
Except for the king. He wasn't that scared.
The king was so scared. His face went so pale. It was like a glass of milk, and his whole body was shaking. It looked like a bowl of jello. He was so terrified.
Well, maybe he was a little scared. So I came and I told him, hey, remember Daniel? Daniel can tell you what these words mean. And so Daniel came in and he told the king, King, you are going to be judged like your father Nebuchadnezzar. Like Nebuchadnezzar, who repented, you have not humbled yourself, and so bad things are gonna happen. And I'm really scared.
Oh no, nothing's gonna happen, I'm sure.
No, I can't hear you. There's like a really loud pounding on the wall. What? The palace is being invaded? Right now? Are the needs in person? I'm sorry, ladies. I have to run. I guess God really can use anything, even writing on a wall.
Our palace! What's gonna happen to my beautiful clothes?
Your clothes? Are you serious right now? The kingdom's getting invaded. Let's go. Oh, this would be a really good time for a trip to your mother's kingdom. Let's go pack your way there.
All right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So it is time now to reward the good behavior we saw.
That's right. I picked four girls.
I've got 4 also.
So I have one right here.
You've been really good.
So come on up.
Okay.
One right there. Come on
It's
up.
gonna be a game.
Sister right here. Come on up.
You've been really good.
And sister in the back. Come on up.
All right. The game we're going to play today is Jeopardy. We're doing boys against girls. So. You have, as each individual, you have the chance to choose the difficulty of the question and the topic. If you do not answer the question correctly, the boys or the opposite team have the opportunity to answer the question on your behalf. So risk versus reward, and whoever wins the game, the entire class is going to get rewarded. If the girls win, all the girls are going to get a special prize. Now, this may not actually happen today, but... Okay, so you'll go first. What would you like? People, object, places, miracles, or mystery for 100. 500 points is the most difficult, 100 is the simplest. Go big. Okay. Miracles for 500 points. Where was the boat headed when Jonah was thrown overboard and swallowed by a great fish?
Oh, I know.
What's the place? And they work together. The answer is yes, but only among the 4 here. Okay? Alright, time's going out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the answer is?
Goes to the boys.
Boys, you have an answer for 500 points. Going once. 500 points is fairly hard.
500s are hard.
Okay, going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final answer is? Joppa is incorrect. Joppa, you're going to go to Joppa on the way to Tarshish. Okay, boys' turn. Nobody got points for that. What difficulty would you like to play?
What's the last one? Let's do 500 and places.
Places for 500 points.
Wasn't the last one a place?
Where was Abraham from before he followed God and left his homeland?
Is that
your final answer? That is correct! Okay. Good job. Boys have 500 points. Next girl. What would you like? Difficulty.
Go big. Go big. Go big. Go big.
Objects for 500 points. The question is, what kind of wood did Noah use to build the ark? Okay, we need to go fast. 5, 4, 3. Go for wood is correct. Place is for 400 points. What hill was Jesus crucified on? That was the first one. That is correct. Good job.
All right.
Okay, so
Boys won.
boys won. Boys with 900 points. The girls with 500 points. Thank you all for playing. The boys, fantastic.
Great job, boys.
Hold on. Everybody participating in it. Good job.
Yeah, all you guys, before you go back to your seats, please get your good behavior reward. Thank you so much.
You want one?
I totally know you don't.
And you will always have technical difficulties in class, like our microphones and the music, and that's just part of the service.
All right. So that was a good behavior game, and not only good behavior, but participation. Now, obviously not everybody can participate, but you know what? We're coming up to the most important part in a minute here of this whole lesson, and that will be the altar call. And everybody's going to have an opportunity to participate during that time. Okay, so what are we talking about today? I want to summarize a little bit. God can talk to us through anything. We've learned, and we know in our Bible that God can use a rooster, right? He talked to Peter. I guess he can use a chicken, and then Gadara. There was thousands of, not chickens, pigs. So Gadara did that. The handwriting on the wall. God can talk to us through songs. He can talk to us through anything. Well, I want to tell a story today about Moses. Even in a public school, secular, I was at a university and the guy was actually talking about great leaders, and actually said Moses was considered one of the greatest leaders of all time. Okay, which was it was a pretty liberal university. Well, anyway, but you know what? There was a kind of some not so good parts about Moses. All right. So anyway, so you know the story. He was born in a Hebrew. And there was a time where the Pharaoh at that time wanted to kill all the Hebrew children. So they're getting to 2 number, right? So like a good mom, she wanted to protect him. So it was like, no hablo Hebrew, you know. So anyway, so she put him in a boat to protect this baby, right? And floated down, you know the story. Pharaoh's daughter picked him up. Well, for 40 years, he was raised in the house of Pharaoh. He got in trouble, he killed somebody, killed an Egyptian, he fled into the desert, and he was there tending sheep for another 40 years. So now, he's 80 years old. He's like Philip, all right? And he's an old guy. And he's an old man, all right? And finally, though, as what he was doing is he's in the desert, and God started to talk to him. So he was, that's the sad part. Kids, we're young, you're young. You know, don't wait till you're 80 to start listening to God, all right? Well, so anyway, he looks aside and he sees this bush. And the amazing thing was, it says the bush was on fire. Well, we're going to see, what was that like? So I want to see if we can try to duplicate what that might have looked like. So the bush was on fire. And in that bush, Moses walked up and said, oh, you know, and out of the bush, God spoke to Moses. Take off your shoes. You're on holy ground. And so Moses bowed down. The bush was on fire, talking to Moses. And you know the amazing thing about God is the bush wasn't consumed. It didn't burn away like a campfire, right? You burn a fire and the wood's gone. You got to keep adding it. Well, God is never going to go away. He's always going to be there. He's always there for us. And the problem is, though, is are we listening to God? There's so many different ways, through the pastor, through the Word of God, through songs, okay, through your friends. God can talk to you in so many different ways. And right now, we're going to have an opportunity right now. Again, we're the most important part. I want everybody to stand up right now. Please stand up. You don't want to wait till you're 80 years old. Right now, God is talking to you right now. You have an opportunity. And the problem is, a lot of times, we're not listening. We're so distracted with life and just the cares of this world that we're kind of push God out. So right now, I'm going to ask everybody just to close your eyes and lift your hands and just say, God, I want to listen to you. I want to hear your voice, oh God. I know you've been talking to me, God. Talk to my heart. Say, God, I'm sorry for anything I've done. If I've avoided you, God, I'm not paying attention to you, God, when you're speaking to me. I want you to forgive me of that, God. I want to listen. I want direction in my life. Does anybody here want direction from God? He's speaking to each and every one of you. You're here from this seminar today. All you adults, God is speaking to you to move farther and further in the kingdom and doing something for this. And you young people, God is here. He's touching you right now. He's touching your heart. You're willing to let Him over your heart. Let God speak to you right now. There's so many different ways. And right now, the Holy Ghost is in this place. And He's here to speak to each and every heart. If you just open your heart and let Him do it. Oh, in Jesus' name, we thank you, Jesus. Oh, hallelujah.
Thank you, Brother Lee. Thank you, everybody. You can have a seat real quick. So that was a mini version of what we try to do every Sunday. And we wanted to end with that atmosphere of prayer and seeing kids worship every Sunday. Again, not every Sunday is created the same. Some they end differently than others, and that's to be expected. But now we're going to go through each piece. The first one we're going to talk about is that intro, the crazy intro where I came in talking to a pig. What was that all about? It was the intro, the attention getter. And those are meant to kick the class off on the right foot. And to me, at least, one of the most important elements of that is making it funny. It has to be funny. And funny to a kid may not be what's funny to us. Like, our jokes aren't funny to kids. They don't think they're funny. They think they're dumb. To them, funny is slapstick. You know, and we don't, I don't recommend this, but like poke them in the eye, you know, that sort of thing. That's hilarious. You heard last night when Brother Hodge was being funny, like Dawson was losing his mind. He was hysterical over it, and we thought it was funny, but he was just a basket case. It was awesome, and hearing that giggle is what you're after. It's that funny, funny laughter. But kids love humor, so the purpose of the intro is to, of course, create a bang, but also to introduce the lesson. So God can talk through anything was what we were talking about that day, today, and that's why we had a pig, God talking to a pig. It's also perhaps to talk about what happened last week. Can we recap last week? And there's all kinds of ways in your handout there that I'm not going to go through. I don't have time. But you can introduce this topic, today's topic. Today we're talking about, and you say what happened last week. And the kids will be like, no, we just talked about that. No, we're talking about it because you didn't get it good enough last week. Just be fun, you know, so you can have all kinds of, there's a bunch of ideas in there. And let's go into the next one. What's next on the list? It is rules. Brother Julian.
All right. So for the rules, obviously that's one of the fundamentals that we do at the beginning of class. The reason for it, so that the kids know what to expect. We have kids that come from all backgrounds. Some of them, they don't have rules in their home, so to tell a kid to not test, and that's kind of just like, you know, it would have been an everyday conversation. But we have to make sure we have those rules set. And also, it helps them to where they know where to go in the good behavior games. Like, hey, if you're behaving, these are the rules you need to follow. In our classroom, so I brought up our rules. Our number one rule is we have 9 rules. Man, we have a lot of rules.
Ways to have fun.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we don't call them rules. We call them ways to have fun. That's right. So number 1 is no electronics. We do one person talking at a time. Don't bug those around you. Stay in your seat and don't move your seat. Don't eat candy in class. And then please do your best to go to the bathroom or get a drink before class. Number 7 is kind of funny. It says we deleted this rule because what's funny is that
specific.
It was so every week we were saying that same rule and kids would be like, oh, like wear your mask. And we're like, we deleted that rule now. So anyway, and then 8 is participate, and 9 is have fun. And the way we'll talk about these rules real quick is we'll be like, hey, who remembers rule number 1? And then someone raises their hand and we'll be like, what's rule number 1? They'll be like, no, I tried. Like, yeah, cool, you get a Sunday school dollar. We just give out, we'll award prizes for the kids to remember them. Some of them, we'll try to prompt them, get them involved so that they're also engaging their mind into what to learn. Birthdays. So for birthdays, that kind of became a personal thing for me because we would always do happy birthday. We'd do a happy birthday to you, and the kids love it. We'll say, it's your birthday, come up here, we're gonna sing to you, and then we'll sing them happy birthday. And it was cool. And then one day I was at it's the pirate show in Baldwin Park, and they sing this song, and they start clapping, and they're like, this is your birthday song, it isn't very long, hey! And then the kids start going, second verse, second verse. This is second verse is shorter than the hey! Happy birthday! I got that from the pirate show, and I was like, when I heard I'm taking that to Sunday school. And well, then we started that for a while, and we did it every single Sunday, and I started getting a little frustrated with it. And then my father-in-law was like, hey, I want to go to Macaroni Grill or something like that for my birthday. Okay. Well, he's a grown man, obviously, and he was so excited to have another grown man sing to him happy birthday in Italian. And I was just like, I can learn this song and sing it in Italian. So I looked up videos, audio, whatever I could do with someone singing it in Italian. Then I brought it one day and the kids just loved it. I get text messages all the time from parents saying, a kid just sang me happy birthday in Italian, thank you very much. And then the Italian thing became repetitive. Then I learned it in Polish, I did it in Chinese, I did it in Russian, I did it in French, Spanish. Anyway, I don't want to go too long, but I just became creative with it. I did whatever. The kids love it, and they actually, parents tell me like, hey, my kid is so excited you're gonna sing him happy birthday today. So, and then visitor Bibles, we hand out visitor Bibles for the first time people who come. We give them a little bookmark or sticker that's on the inside. More info on the handout that we're gonna give. So just go.
Alright, so I could go over my favorite part, which is songs. I don't know if you can tell, I really like them. And apparently some of the questions we get asked, or they get asked, I don't get asked anything, which is perfectly fine, is where do we find our songs? We find them on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Typically, Apple Music for me, or like when I'm really desperate, I'll go to YouTube and then listen to a bunch of songs that I don't like to find what I do like. I'm really, really picky about my songs. So ways I find them obviously through those different apps, and then the ways I remember them is I've created multiple playlists for different times. Like I'll have action songs, I have prayer songs, and for different times that are more worshipful. And I have those playlists I can go fall back on when I'm like, oh, I need a song for creation, or I need a song for God's love, or whatever. And I would recommend doing the same, creating playlists. Sometimes we find good songs that have a really strange part, like the Fan Davidosi one. It has a really weird part, like pray, pray every day, everybody pray every day. It's really weird. So Brother Philip, who's our techno person, I think he clipped it out and then kind of weirdly put it together. You didn't get to hear the really jumpy transition back into the Fan Davidosi. But so if you find a good song and it's kind of funky in the middle and you're like, I don't know if we want that for church, you can just clip it and make a new song. So I have a couple topics listed with different songs we've used for them. You can look through those. And something I wanted to add is don't limit yourself to just kids songs. There's some songs we sing for church, whether for choir or for praise and worship, that are really, really bumping. Like, they're great. Some examples of those are In Jesus' Name by Israel Houghton. The bridge on that part is our favorite. God is fighting for us, pushing back the darkness, lighting up the kingdom that cannot be shaken. In the name of Jesus, enemies defeated.
And we will shout it out, shout it out.
Anyway, it's great. Some other ones I have are Glorious Day and Freedom by Pentecostal of Alexandria. That one's a live recording, so it's kind of weird. Anyway. Just weird to do in class, that's all I'm saying. How to make up motions. So what I do is I listen to the lyrics, I look them up if I have to, and some of my go-tos for different lyrics that you find pretty common in kids songs are like for fear or shame or darkness or anything that makes sense. You cover your face. Sky, heaven, glory, you put your hands up like this and reach for the sky. For like things round, turn around, made new, anything like that, you just turn in a circle. Really, really simple, but you just listen to the song over and over again, and you do whatever fits. If it doesn't follow like what videos they have on YouTube or something another church does, it's okay. Your kids aren't gonna know. You do your thing. I've done songs multiple times and forgotten the motions I did for them, and I just make up new ones. So they forget too sometimes, so it just works. So some tips for getting kids involved and having the most fun with songs for me are, the most important is a lot of energy, which is at the bottom because it's all caps. But another good one is eye contact. I find that when I make eye contact with people and I literally point at them whenever we have pointing motions, it gets them more involved. Or if there's some kid that's sitting there or just standing there just looking at you, like, I act like they betrayed me, like, why aren't you moving? What? Come on, help me with this song, it's great. Because then, they feel like, oh, you actually want me, like, not just us in general as kids, but me by myself, you want me involved. Another good one is, you go up there, and whenever I go up, I'm gonna have fun with this song, whether the kids get involved or not. I'm gonna have fun all by myself. I'm up there, I love these songs. I always pick songs that I think are the greatest, and my kid self is like, this is the coolest ever, and I'll rock out to songs by myself in the car, like Brother Philip and Brother Tyler Hodge. And I'm gonna have fun up there. Choose songs that your kid self thinks is cool. And then of course, practice, practice, practice. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll stand in front of my full-length mirror and I will do songs over and over and over again, working on motions and just making sure it makes sense when you see it. It's not like some weird vague thing that you can't even figure out, like weird hand motion or something. We also like to pull in other teachers. So like the teachers that are on the sidelines aren't necessarily up there doing songs with us, that are around the room. You have it either come up and help or they do songs from where they're at. And then choosing kids to come help as well is really, really, it really gets the kids more involved because they're like, oh, that's my buddy, they're doing motions, I want to do motions too. And then of course, energy. I always try to put in like my 1,080% energy into that as much as I can, and a lot of times it ends up wearing me out. But I figure I have to give either double or 4 times the energy that I want to see from my kids.
Yeah.
So if I want to see them just doing like this, then I have to do like this, you know? So the more you do, the more they will do, because they'll see how much fun you're having, and they're gonna put more into it and have a lot of fun. So my favorite artists: Go Fish, Nancy, Robbie Yaji, Ronnie Caldwell, Doug Horley, Uncle Charlie, and then a lot of the VBS songs are just amazing. And then if you have any questions, you can contact me. My email and my phone number there. And before Brother Philip can make any jokes, okay? Our resident first responder is Brother Julian, our fireman, and I'm the last responder, which means I'm probably not going to get to your message for 3, 4, never days. And it's a head thing, not a heart thing, I promise. It's just like I'm in the middle of something, I look at it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna get back to them after I finish X, Y, or Z. And then I finished X, Y, or Z, and my, I don't know, possibly ADD, I'm not diagnosed, moves me on to something else. I completely forget about the message. So just message me again, and don't talk about Philip, because then he'll tease me about it, and I'll eventually get back to you. Anyway, that's all I got.
Last thing about that, altar call songs are vital.
Yes.
We felt the difference in the mood as soon as we started playing that song during the altar call. We even have one that's on loop, where there's no breaks. You know how they fade out and they come back in? You lose it so fast. We'll have them where there's no break, but we have that. In Jesus' name, power in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
And it loops for 45 minutes, so there's no downtime. So some of those altar calls just last forever. I can play that as a backup and then just never expire.
Okay, real quick, mini object lessons. I'm not going to go deep at all here because we're going to give a whole session on that later on if you attend, and after the seminars and incident, I'll be here to talk about that. But one thing I do want to point out with mini object lessons, a lot of times we may take like Landry here or an older, mature kid in the class and offer them a time to come up and give a quick little lesson or something like that to kind of get them involved in doing something so the kids are seeing it from their own peers, or maybe a young teacher. We may often just, that hasn't really done too many object lessons, get them in doing something to get them feeling more comfortable with that. So again, I will talk more about that with Philip a little later, and let's see you next.
Okay, the skit puppet show portion of the class is our primary storytelling vehicle. And so if your curriculum that day is based on a specific Bible story, that's the spot that we use to creatively tell that Bible story. If your curriculum is based on a topic, then you need to come up with either a Bible story that matches that topic or one from your imagination. And for example, faith, you can use a classic of Daniel in the Lion's Den or one that we don't use as much. For example, the centurion who was asking for healing from his servant. But your imagination works just as well. Kids sometimes mix it up. It doesn't always have to be a Bible story. Use modern. We talked about music recently, and we had a little skit about a girl who starts listening to the wrong music, has a bad dream that night, and then gets visited from Saul, who also had bad dreams, and the right music, used it to drive it away. And so we can sometimes mix it up, modern and Bible story together. If you do one that's modern or from your imagination, make sure your topic it matches your topic. You don't want your kids scratching their heads going, what in the world did that mean? So 3 aspects of skit and puppet shows is, the first one is writing. There's a list of resources that I go to. Obviously, Google is your friend. But sometimes I just read through those scripts just to get my juices flowing and to maybe do a jump off point. I don't always, actually very seldom, use the whole script. But they're good to kind of get a basic down and then put things in your own words. Because you'll find some of them are a little short in the creativity, and so you need to insert a little bit of your own humor, your own, you know what makes your kids spark. So I always carry a notepad, or actually note app, because you never know when inspiration is going to hit. And you don't want to forget that inspiration. In fact, this is right by my bed sometimes in the middle of the night. I woken up and be like, oh, that's it. And I'll grab my notepad and start writing notes in the middle of the night. If there's not very many teachers, how do you do a skit or a puppet show? Get creative. As you saw, we just did an interview. That's one of the ways I like to do when there's only 2, is do an interview. Interview a Bible character and have that Bible character tell that story.
or just simply use a single puppet to tell that story. Just get creative. Always use humor. Kids and adults love it, and it helps keep that story in their mind. So as you saw just now, story of Belshazzar, you can make it funny. Okay, so look for the spots in the Bible story that lend themselves to humor. Handwriting on the wall, definitely, it can do that. Preparing. Your skit is written. Now you need to assign your people to the characters and send them the script. Please try to send it out early, giving them plenty of time to read over and practice on their own before the team practices, which brings us to practice. Practice is vital. You don't want the first time you're doing your skit to be up in front of the class, because I promise you the kids will call you on it. And they do know. Props, think about your props. It's really nice if you can start creating a prop section at your Sunday school that all of the teachers can get stuff out of. Amazon is taking over the world, but boy, do they have a lot of stuff on there. So that big finger I ordered last week, and there you go. I have a big finger for handwriting on the wall. It was like $5. But the dollar stores, thrift stores, and your empty boxes, tubs, tubes, anything can be made into a prop, I promise you. I have a mother who was a Sunday school teacher from the time she was 16, and PVC pipe is your friend. I mean, she makes everything out of PVC pipe. So anything will work. Costumes, if you don't sew, I guarantee you there's somebody in your church that will help you. I'd be more than happy to make you a set of Bible costumes. Make sure you have a couple from each, men, genders, Jesus, white robe that you can use for angel, and have that set there for all of the teachers. Now you're ready to perform. So here's some tips for acting. Always face the kids. They need to see your face, even if it feels a little awkward or unnatural. Even if you're talking to another character, you need to make sure you're facing them. You do not have to go like this. It's okay. Number 2, if you need a script, use a clipboard or a prop to hide it. Okay. Number 3, always exaggerate your emotion. It needs to be obvious. You're not just doing to the front row, you're doing to the whole. And if this is outside of your comfort zone, ask God to help you, and I promise He will help you.
Our portion of the meeting, Brother Larry, I was Colonel Good Behavior, and so what we were doing is the good behavior part, and the object of that is to get kids to behave and reward those that are participating and are behaving well. Who qualifies? Pretty much any kid that's behaving, and that's following during dancing, the songs, just behaving well and doing everything properly. How to pick a kid is we have several different ways. Sometimes like whoever's doing the good behavior game, we'll just sit there and watch to see who's doing it. We also have teachers help. Like say, I go to Brother Philip, can you pick 2 boys? Sister Delaney, can you pick 2 girls? And then I would ask different teachers to pick whatever set amount we have of kids. We also do names in the bucket. Sometimes we have papers and we'll say, okay, the teachers are taking down names for who's behaving well, and we put it in a bucket, and then after we pick the amount of people that we picked. And then another one is also, we do sometimes before the kids come into class, we have sticky notes under selected seats. That way we don't know who's going to sit there, and then we just, either whoever's doing the game will pay attention to those seats, or we ask the teachers to pay attention to the seats, and we just see if they're behaving or not. But again, we always tell them this, that no matter what, if you are in a seat, for example, if we use a sticky note, if you're not behaving, we won't tell you that you're in that seat. And if they are, then you're just like, well, you weren't behaving. We would tell them, if you're not behaving, you will not be able to participate. And we can remove their name from the good behavior game, like Brother Philip said out there in the main sanctuary. What kind of games do we play? Anything that appeals to their visual senses and their physical senses, to get them up, get them going. Like, oh yeah, like how we're doing boys versus girls. We do that quite a bit actually. And it's like, yeah, and the boys are like, yeah, go boys. And the girls are like, yeah. And so it just gets them, going. rock, paper, scissors tournaments. We do that quite a bit too sometimes. We have a large Connect Four. I mean, the thing's huge. I'd say probably about both of these tables put together. We play that, and like, you know, girls versus boys, and they just play Connect Four, and it's fun. There's just anything you can think of will work. At the dollar store, I found these like little cricket little set things, and we would play that, or buckets, and we would put them on the floor, and they would try to toss it in anything. So there's no limit, and you can think of, I mean, whatever you can think of, and it appeals to your kids, whatever, just do the games that they like. Like ours, they like the Connect Four, they like anything that really has to do with boys versus girls, they like. So let's see, what kind of prizes? We have a treasure chest that's always filled with just random little toys that Brother Philip gets. We tell them you can either get that, and you can do candies, food, prize bags, anything like that. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to call me, text me, my number's down there, you can email me, or Brother Larry.
So the final lesson is the culmination of everything that's happened so far. So you need to be paying attention if you're doing the final lesson, because sometimes there's pieces that are left hanging unintentionally. I don't know if you noticed, but on the skit that we did with the letter, the whole point of that was because God can talk to you through anything, including His Word. I was supposed to say at the end of that, so God can talk to me through His Word. He can talk through anything. Well, I didn't. And so what I would do at the final lesson is say, remember, just like that skit, where you were talking about that letter, God can talk to you through His Word. He can talk to you through a writing on the wall. He can talk to you through a burning bush. He can talk to you through a donkey. He can talk to you through a rubber pig. God can talk to you through anything if He wants to. So you got to be paying attention and pull it all in. But it has to be visual. So if you're just up here talking, don't expect to have much of a great experience. It's not going to happen. Bob Lee is just such a great job of giving the visual of God can talk to you through a bush. I'm almost done here. Leading it into an altar call. That's our focus on every single Sunday. Is somehow bring it down into a point. So we see Superclass as a funnel. It starts off wide open. Everybody's and as the day gets closer and closer, it's tighter and tighter until now it's that child and God. Hopefully that's where it ends up, where every child is now between them and God, and the fun has narrowed down, and now it's serious. Now it's serious. So during your final lesson, you can start your final lesson fun. A lot of times we'll even do a warm-up worship song right before, and it kind of sobers the class. Like we'll sing a real slow, pretty song right before the final lesson, and it just sets the mood. And your lesson doesn't have to be somber or serious, but it can start off funny, but it does need to end up at a more serious level. So I'm going to be done, but we have Sister Lozano and Sister Liz, and they're going to talk to us about adapting everything we just did, to 2 to 4-year-olds now. And they have 3 minutes to do it. That's not even fair, but they do have a bunch on a handout.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different flavor in the toddler class for sure. Just like any other group, we're working to meet them on their level, work with them on their level. And I do find that this group tends to get spooked a little bit more easier. So a lot of the loud stuff, some of the sudden bang, pop, flash, we pretty much don't use fire in class. So those are some of the major differences. One of the things that I would say, and I've been in the toddler class for a while, and I absolutely love it. I can't see myself anywhere else. But the consistency is key. It does help this age group to know what's coming next, what to expect. Those that are nervous about coming and staying, we kind of do the same thing every week. You know, we do this, we do that, then your mom picks you up. Like, I promise you won't be here until next week. She comes and picks you up every time. So that's really good. One of the other things that we do, typically a lot more hands-on, and most of the time we are on the floor. So we right down on the floor with them. As they're coming in, we have something that we do pre-lesson activity. So it's either playing with something, and I look to Pinterest quite a bit for ideas and inspiration. I'm not necessarily looking at Sunday school stuff. I'm looking at fine motor skills, sensory activities, toddler activities, and you can get a lot of mileage out of a pipe cleaner and some cereal. And you can adapt that and turn it into part of the Bible lesson. So with this one here, we're working a lot on fine motor skills. You know, they're probably going to put a lot of this stuff in their mouth, so you want to make sure it's something safe. But if you had Fruit Loops, you can do Joseph's Coat of Many Colors or Noah's Ark with the rainbow. And that kind of helps that transition. It's something they're doing with their hands. They will be busy. If you don't keep them busy, they're going to be busy, and they're probably going to be crying or getting into something. So we do try to start the class with something that they can keep their little hands busy with. And I will turn to Liz.
So I'm super new to the toddler class, but she's an amazing teacher. And so I put a little breakdown of what we do in the toddler class. After our pre-class activities, we, every single week, will pass out a Bible, and then we have some pictures. One is of heaven, we're at 0 minutes. Okay, look at your handout, it's super great.
Oh, last thing, there's contact information in all of these. If you have to call, text, or just meet us after, ask all the questions. We were supposed to have a Q&A time at the end of this. Yeah, right.